Good, how are you?
Good, good. Are you guys all set with your equipment? Looks like it. Everyone's got that? Okay. So I think today calls for a start lying on our back with the ball between the shoulder blades. So let's go ahead and lie down on our mats and set that ball up between the shoulder blades. So you want to find some length in our backs today in each spot, right? Because we have sort of those, everybody has those spots that tend to get, really tight. And one of them is between the shoulder blades. So go ahead and prop yourself up with that ball underneath your shoulder blades. We're going to wrap the hands around the head so that we've got that support. And then we're just going to move from side to side. So I'm going to turn just a little, bringing my elbow up towards the ceiling. And let's really integrate the breath into this. So we exhale as we twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And it's not a very big movement, just kind of swaying that ball, breaking up some of the tension and fascia. And let's go for 3 and 2 and 1. And bringing it back to center. Good, let's take one hand and place it just below the rib cage so we can feel the stomach muscles expand as we inhale. Open the chest, and as you exhale, I want you to notice if your stomach starts to deflate. That's kind of the feeling we want to have. So inflate that abdominal, and then exhale, let it just deflate like a balloon. And let's do one more with this hand. Open it up, reach that head behind you. Go slow and exhale. Let's switch sides. So placing the hands in the abdominals, just being aware. We're going to inhale and exhale. And inhale, open it up. Let the lungs fill up with air and exhale. And on this last one, see if you can let your exhale be longer than your inhale. Inhale and exhale, tightening through the core. Coming up a little higher, bring both hands behind your head. And take a breath in here. Now we're going to float one leg up towards the ceiling. I'm looking at my knee, and I'm going to place that leg down. And just being stable as you do one side and then the other, lifting it up to tabletop, keeping that abdominal connection as you do the lift. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 more. Let's take those feet down. Give yourself a little more extension. Reach that head, neck, and shoulders beyond the ball. Open up your armpits towards the ceiling. Really think about the elbows reaching away. And that should help you get a little more space. Inhale, bring those elbows together. So now you're protracting those shoulders. And then let your shoulders connect into the ball one more time. Really open it up, see if you can go a little further. And I often find with these types of exercises that it takes a few times for our body to say, okay, yes, I'm gonna let go. Because it sometimes is in protection mode. Let's reach those hands in front of us. Peel the chin to the chest, start to slide the legs away from you and roll yourself up. Reach towards those toes. Stack the spine nice and easy, and let's come into a side lying position. So we're going to start with the knee on the ball. Wrap the bottom hand around your head. If you need a little more support, this is where our pillow coming into play is good. And just let that knee reach away. We're going to take the ball up and into that inner thigh. Keep your hand in front of your chest for support so you're not going all the way over. And let's go for 4 and 3. Exhale, 2, and 1 more here. So now bring that leg back to its start position and take the ball forward up towards your elbow and down. So we're just going to go up and down this time. And let that leg move nice and easy. And then holding that position so that I've got that alignment back. So hip and knee in the same line. Let's take the hand off the ground, reach it up towards the ceiling. Start to open up that chest into a nice little rotation. And again, this is that same area, right? So be careful as you go, not to force anything. Just allow the body to start to open up more. And if it's available to you on that last one, see if you can take your arms both into a T position. Whether it's touching the ground behind you or not, you're still going to feel that nice lengthened position through the chest. Hold the core belly in to protect your lower back. And then float that backhand all the way up towards the ceiling and bring it back down. We're going to take that ball and place it underneath the armpit. So the bottom hand, the palm can go down for support if that's available to you, or you can turn the palm up. Your bottom's legs, let's keep them bent a little bit for a base and take the top hand over. Stretch out through the rib cage now. Lift yourself up. Reach your fingertips past your hips. So we're going to come over that ball, let the rib cage stretch, and lift it back up. And let's try a couple more like that. And reach. And last one here. And reach just beyond those hips. Stay there, connect to that core. And now take your bottom arm, bend the elbow, elbows on the ground, take top arm to the back of the head. And we're going to rotate that elbow down and up. And you can let yourself rock off the ball. Once you feel comfortable, see if you can lift that bottom elbow. So as I move, both elbows are going. But if it's more stable for you, you can keep the bottom elbow down and just move from the top elbow. You're still getting that openness. And two. And last one. Good, and then place your hand down on the ground, push yourself up, keep your knees together. So my knees are stacked, and I'm just going to place the ball in front of me for a second. So a little bit more stretch here. I'm going to take that outside hand and start to lift the hips up, reach up and over, and bringing it back down. Now, here's a little trick. As you lift, you can place that ball underneath your hip, so you've got some support lifting you off the ground, and then press back down. And lift with the ball just helping you, or you can take the ball completely out and bring it down. And let's try two more. Really arch and round through that upper torso. Squeeze the inner thighs together. One more time here. Reach and then bring it all the way back. Let's grab that top leg, swing it around, and either take the bottom leg straight or you can keep it tucked underneath you. Now I'm going to use the ball to help with my rotational stretch here. So my one hand is going to pull that knee into the opposite shoulder, and I'm going to grab the ball and reach it behind me with the other hand. So I'm just finding length through both sides, left and right. Take a breath in, and then use the ball to reach a little further, and bring it back up a little bit. And one more time, exhale, reach a little further, and bring it back up. Swing that ball around to the front, straighten both legs out. Let's do a nice little spine stretch. And don't press this too far away. Just give your back a second to let go, and then roll it all the way back up nice and easy. Let's take it over to the other knee. So have a lie down, propping yourself up on the other side. We're going to start with that leg reaching forward and back. And really use that ball up and into that thigh. No muscular tension here, just a nice soft rolling motion. And then bringing it back to center. Now we're going to bring the knee up towards the elbow and down. Letting that hip just get a nice openness. 3 more, and breathing into it. And then take that knee back in line with your hip, and let's focus on the arm now and the upper chest rotating, and then bringing it back. Exhale, let that hand be heavy as you reach it behind you. Trying 2 more here. And on that last one, see if you can send both arms out into a T position. You want to try and keep them shoulder height so that they're not way up here. And then just reach that back arm away as you keep this knee pressing into the ball. Breathe into that. And just tell your body to relax. Bring it up nice and slow. Come all the way back to start position, and then press that ball underneath your arm. We're gonna get that bottom arm straight, and the top arm, we're gonna reach over. And then as we lift, take it past your hip. And again, if you want to turn that palm down, so you've got a little push off of the bottom arm, you can do that as another option. And 2 more. And on this last one, we're really gonna hold that stretch overhead. Lengthen out those arms. Let your breath, see if you can feel it. So when you fill the lungs with air, that rib cage expands and presses into the ball. And then let's bend the bottom elbow and the top elbow and go into that forward movement and then upward and back. And reach. Two more. And last one, hold it there. Maybe you can take that bottom arm out a little bit. Really open up that chest. One more breath. And then exhale, pressing yourself up. Keep the knees together. Hand on the ground, nice and close to your body. And we're gonna take ourselves up, reach. And again, this is where you can stick that ball underneath your hip for some additional support. And just really use that rib cage now. It should flow nicely. So the arm is just kind of there. It's attached to the body. So as we move with the ribs, the arm is reaching. Two more, reach. And last one. Hold it there for a nice deep inhale and exhale. And then when we float ourselves all the way down, we're gonna take that top leg across, stretch the bottom leg out, or you can keep it tucked underneath you. Let's pull that knee in towards the chest and take that ball behind you. So use that ball to reach a little further away. And I'm straightening my legs today so that I can really concentrate on both sit bones being on the ground. So if you feel like you don't have that, either take your foot way a little less or undo that bottom leg so that if it's curled underneath you, you don't have to have that position. Really reach that arm away a little bit further as you pull the knee in towards that opposite shoulder. Inhale. And on your next breath, we're gonna slowly untwist the back. Bring both legs straight out in front of you. Come into a nice spine stretch forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll yourself all the way up nice and easy. And now we're gonna take the ball to the low back. So I'm gonna place it up against the low back as soon as I adjust my lighting here. As much as I don't want the sun to go away. Can't see you guys, that's better. Okay, so it's right up against your lower back. Grab onto the undersides of your legs. Start to peel your back into the ball. And then without coming all the way off the ball, stack that spine. So we're going to try to keep that connection. If it rolls away, it rolls away. You can bring it back. Roll it back. Now we're focusing a little lower into that lumbar area. Reach. And then stack the spine so you're purposefully letting that chest reach forward and then coming back into the ball. Last one. Exhale, peel your back in. So you're creating a C shape with your back here. Imagine like you're hollowing out in the abdominals. Now take your arms out to the side. We're going to expand through the chest. Bring it together. So your core is very engaged in this process, but your back is completely supported. And that's what you want. You want to train those abdominal muscles to kick in instead of the back muscles. Back is relaxed. And 3. And 2. And last one, creating a little warmth in those abdominals. Bring the fingertips together, straighten the legs out. Take a forward fold. This time, let your head reach towards your toes instead of rounding your back. Grab that ball, place it between your knees. Release the feet, start to roll yourself all the way down onto your back. And let's take those legs up to tabletop. So I'm holding that ball between the knees. My arms are going to come out to the side for support. And I'm just going to do a little hip sway from side to side. Let your hips open up. Let your low back really release. And 3, 2, core is still turned on here. Last one. Bringing it back down. Now let's take a second to open up the hips. I'm going to bring the ball underneath one foot. Press that ball away. Turn the foot out to the side and bring it back to your start position. So I'm making a circular motion. And think about, this is your hip socket. This is your femur bone inside your hip socket. What we want to try and do is get that mobility in the hip so that it fluidly moves instead of feeling like there's choppiness in that movement, which is totally normal when you first start. And then after a few more of these, we should feel like the hip is letting go. The muscles are not gripping. Trying to hold on for dear life. Last one. Now take it out to the side and let's hold it there. Now play a little bit with the positioning. So we're gonna pull it closer if we want more of a deeper stretch, or reach it away a bit if we feel like there's too much gripping in the hip. And gripping is just that feeling where the muscle is really holding tight and it's shortened and it's pulling on the joint. So you should know what that feels like as you're doing the motion. And the idea being here is to totally let go. Sometimes the body takes some convincing. You might have to move back and forth a couple more times. And then return that leg to its start position. Push your foot firmly into the ball and then roll your hips up just a little bit off of the mat. Push that leg out and in just a few times. And there's nothing wrong with doing the same motion again with your hips down, but just put a little more pressure in the ball with your foot. So we're turning on that back body, getting those glutes to do their job. And last one. Roll those hips back down. Switch it over to the other foot. So again, go into your full circle. Leg goes straight out, rotate, and bring it back in. So a nice full range of motion. Let's try 3 more. And 2. And last one. Now hold that knee out. I'm going to straighten my other leg. If you want to do that too, you can. And then play with that position. Maybe you want to pull it closer, let the knee reach out to the side a bit more. Nice gentle movement here, or just holding. Holding, allowing the knee to open up a little bit more. Breathe into it. And that breath, you know, you're drawing in all that oxygen into the muscles to help them do their job. And taking that exhale, that's going to help as well. And then bring that leg back to your start position. Pull both knees back to your feet on the ground, and then lift those hips up. We're going to slide that leg out and in. A little more pressure with the foot as you go back and forth. Activating that back body. 2, and 1 more. Let's pull that ball in, roll the hips down nice and easy. Good, and now we're going to take it under the hips. So pull your ball up and underneath your sit bones and in between your tailbone and your low back. So you should feel complete support in the pelvic girdle all across the front of the hips and the back of the hips. Once you feel that stable position, lift your legs up to tabletop. Hands are by your side, and we're just going to tap it out. Activate your deep core muscles here. So the ball is supporting your back so that you can get into those deep core muscles. You know, we have all these layers of muscles, and we all know about the surface ones, the ones that we see, but it's the ones that we don't see that we want to work in Pilates and incorporate it into our daily activities. Let's do 2 more. And on this last one, can you stretch both legs up towards the ceiling? Flex those feet and start to reach the legs a little bit behind you. Now, this is okay to do with a bent knee as well. What we're doing is stretching that low back now. So we started at the top of the back, and now we're right down low in towards the tailbone. If it's available to keep those legs reaching, like they're trying to touch something behind you, but keep the hips down on the ball. Inhale here. Laterally rotate so your heels are together, your toes are apart, and come back to a straight line. Okay, we're going to do our frog, but the knees are going to come out to the side, and I'm going to push my feet up towards the ceiling, like I'm trying to make an imprint with my feet. Bend those knees and press. 2 more straight up, and then we're going to change the angle to incorporate the abdominals. Now bring your knees in, hold on, lower the feet a little bit towards the 45, and now push straight out to the 45 and pull it back in. Little squeeze into those inner thighs. 2 more. And then we're going to go into our nice Peter Pan stretch. Holding the knees in, take a hold with one hand and stretch the other leg out. So the leg I'm holding on to is just kind of anchoring that hip down so I don't fall off the ball. Inhale. And reach that other foot. Now point your toes away. Flex your toes and bring those heels back together. Let's try the other side. Reach the leg away. Start with a nice pointed toe position. And then flex both feet. And then bring it back together. Let's try that again. Other side, point those toes. Reach that leg nice and long out to the side. Flex those toes. And then pull it back in. And last one. Point the toes, reach it away so you can go a little further. And don't be shy about using your hands to support the legs. Flex those feet. And then bring the legs back together. Now this is going to feel so sweet. Bring the knees together and the knees and the feet together. Stretch those legs up towards the ceiling. That parallel position should feel really nice now. Let's scissor the legs away, hold on to one. So now we're lengthening out those hamstrings. Let's flex those feet again as we hold this nice scissor stretch. Bend the knees and center and then switch. Start with your pointed toe and then flex through both feet. Get that ankle mobility. And then bend the knees back to center one last time each side. Pull that leg a little closer, send that bottom leg out a little further away. And again, if you want to keep the knees bent, that feels better, then please do that. Try that as an alternative. And then back and switch. Then flex. Getting that nice opening front to back. And then let's bring those legs together one more time. We're going to finish off with a little tiny hip sway. So tiny, but important as you get the hips balancing. And then press your feet back down onto your mat. Do that hip sway again, but make it bigger. So I'm really moving one hip to the other from side to side across that low back, breaking up the tension in those muscles. Press into your feet, lift your hips up nice and high, take that ball out from underneath you, pull your hips down and notice all that nice length you've just created in your back. Let's take that ball up towards the ceiling, squeeze into it, roll your chin to your chest. Option to pull the knees into the chest and pull that ball into your center or peel up. So you can curl like a ball to come up or you can peel up into your roll up. When you get there, place the ball in between your thighs and your chest, and we're just going to breathe into it for a second. So I'm clasping my hands underneath my legs here. I'm pressing my chest into the ball. Inhale, and below the breastbone, so it's closer to the abdominals. Let your stomach press into the ball as you breathe. And see if you can feel your back filling out with the breath. A couple more here. Exhale. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Take those hands, release them. Send those legs away. Peel yourself down. See if you're a little closer to those toes. And staying connected into the ball with your hands. Press into it. Roll yourself all the way up. And let's turn all the way over onto all fours. We're going to take one instep underneath the ball. So you can put it on your shin or your instep, whatever you feel you have more control over. And let's take that leg away from the body, stretch it out, and then pull it back in. So I'm pressing my shin into the ball. So I've got that connection the whole time. Upper body staying relaxed. Just supporting the movement. Two more. And last one. Now lengthen that leg, curl the toes under. Maybe the knee is propped up on the ball. If that feels okay. Or maybe you can get it as high. I'm going to assist mine to come up a little higher as your thigh. And then I'm going to sit back and really open up that front hip. So almost like you're doing a pigeon pose, but we're not quite doing the pigeon pose. Now I'm like resting the top of my leg onto that ball, sitting back. Take a breath in. Now see if you can touch your knee down towards the ground, or at least lay down the top of your foot. That can be quite intense through that hip flexor. Energy into those hands. Pull yourself back up to your start position, and let's transition to the other leg. Take the instep or the shin on top, and then press it away. For this one, my hips are staying level. I'm just moving the leg in and out. Try two more like that. And then on that next one, let the legs slide all the way down into the ground. Allow your body to come back into that other leg. So you're feeling supported still with your arms, but the top of your hip flexor on that leg on the ball is feeling the stretch. Push through a little bit further. Maybe you can bring the ball up to your thigh. Stay lifted through your chest. Inhale here. And then exhale as you bring it back in. Okay, so we're going to take the ball back to that first side, but we're going to place it between the thigh and the calf. So we're going to bite down on the ball, take it up towards the ceiling, and bringing it back down. So really getting into those hamstrings now, and the glutes, and 3, 2, now hold it there, and we're going to push the ball in and release. Push and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg down. Take the ball out. Place it in the hand on the same side. Stretch yourself back into a one-armed child's pose. Over the ball with that one arm, other hand on the ground. Let that arm open up. And then exhale, push into the ball with your hand, pull it back in, and let's switch legs. So we've got it on the other side. We're biting down. We're going to just lift the leg up and down, slow and steady. Breathing as you lift. 3. Exhale. 2. Now hold it there. Press and release. Press calf towards your hamstring or your butt, heel towards your bum. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the leg all the way down. Take the ball out. Take it underneath the other arm. Stretch back into your child's pose. That second arm now reaching away. Inhale here. And then exhale, roll it all the way up. So now I'm going to take my head onto the ball. So let's open the knees a little bit wider. And then bring it a little closer so you can rest your head and reach your arms away. So my head's on the ball, hopefully reaching. And then those arms are lengthening out. Once you have your head balanced on the ball, take your arms down. Bend your elbows and press your palms or your fingertips together. And let's see if we can take those arms above the head. Even if it's just the tips of your fingertips touching. And then exhale, bring those fingertips all the way back down. Lift them again. And then start to roll yourself all the way up, nice and easy. Good. Come on, all the way up to your knees. Okay, so we are going to take the ball between the calves and the glutes. And we're going to sit on the ball. So make sure you've got some space between your ankles. Sit on that ball. Now, if some of you are familiar with yoga, you'll know your camel pose. Okay, so we're going to kind of do a version of that. So I'm going to reach back with my hands and reach towards my toes, open the chest, keeping that chest nice and long. So this is just the start of that pose. And then we're going to inhale here. Exhale, release your hands to the front. Come up to your knees, keep that ball there. And now let's try one side. Take your hand behind your lower back. Roll the shoulder back, and we're going to take the other arm up as we lean back. Now, if that feels okay, and you feel you can go deeper, I want you to reach towards your heel. If that's just where you want to stay, then that's where you stay. You can curl your toes under as an option, reach back, open up that arm a little bit more. Nice back body work here. Slowly lengthen back up and release that arm. Let's try the other side. Find the top of your hip or your glute. Reach the hand up towards the ceiling. Start with a soft back bend. And listen to your body. If it's saying that this is good, then stay there. If you want to go deeper, reach for that heel. Reach up and over. Open that chest. Stretch the front of those glutes, hip flexors. And then slowly reverse it and come all the way back. Taking your hands onto the ground, keeping that ball between your ankle bones. Press yourself up, hover those knees, and push yourself back into a down dog. Take a moment to pedal out the heels, lifting one and then the other. Inhale here, and then exhale. Let's take those knees back down. Take the ball out from between the knees. Curl the toes under. Let's go up into that downward facing dog again. Pedal it out. And we're going to do three-legged dog here. So it's not about how high your leg can go. It's more about out. So we're going to take the leg, bend the knee, and then start to reach that leg behind you. So we're going to open up the hip here. Just check everything out. Make sure you feel stable. Bring the heel to your bum, and then rotate and open that hip, keeping your weight in your hands. Take a breath in, and then on your next exhale, reverse it. Bring the knee back in line, hips down, facing the same direction, and release the leg. Take a pause, bring your knees down onto the mat, push back, release any tension in your shoulders. And let's try it on the other side. Come back to tabletop, curl your toes under, lift your hips up. Take the other knee, bend it, and stretch it back. Find that length, heel comes to your bum, open it up. Keep your weight in your hands. Really open those hips. Inhale, and reverse it, bring the knee down. Lengthen the leg back. Hike those hips up a little further, then come into plank, bend the knees, push back into your child's pose. From that child's pose, we're gonna sneak our way forward, take the ball and place it in the front of your hip, and then come on down. Curl the toes under like you're in a forearm plank position. So I have one of my hips on the ball and I'm gonna roll back and forth, just stretching out through that front hip. And you can go as high as the rib cage and as low as the top of the thigh with your roll out. And then keep it somewhere in between the hip and the hip flexor, bring the knees down. And the leg that's on the ball, we're gonna bring that heel in and out. Creating that openness in the front of the hip, lifting that chest. So it might be hard to see from this angle, but I'm creating a bit of a triangular position with my elbows. Hands are touching, and my elbows are out to the side here. Now hold that leg up there. Drop your knee down. If it's available to you, we're gonna place the opposite hand in front of the body and reach the same side hand back to grab that heel and bring it in. And then the option to lift the knee, kick it back into your hand like you're doing a dancer's pose. Really open up the front of that hip and your chest. On your next exhale, take the knee down, release the hand, come back to your plank position, lift off just enough so you can transition to the other side. Move the ball over to the other hip. Now curl under and let's do that. Rolling out. If you want to add a little more pressure into the roll, you can lift the leg that you're rolling on and put a little more of that weight in the ball. Try support your weight. See, these balls take a lot of abuse and give us back a lot. Last one here. Now let's touch those knees down. Bring the heel towards your bum. So we're flexing that hamstring. Keep the tummy pulled up. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's drop that knee down. Take the heel in, reach back with the same side arm. Prop yourself up a little higher with your other arm. Open up the chest. Open up the leg. Lift the knee if that's available. I know that's a very intense stretch, so breathe deeply. And then on your next exhale, release the knee, release the hand, push back off to the ball, send yourself back into your shell stretch or your child's pose. Support yourself however you'd like to. Maybe you want your ball back under your head. If the ball is under your head, just kind of move your head side to side, releasing any tension in your neck. And then take a breath in, roll yourself up to all fours. And we're gonna finish with a nice little lunging series. So bring one foot forward, take your hip and square it off. So if you're back here, pull it under. If you're forward, come back. So you have that squared off position. Okay, so we're gonna get from that hip flexor up into those obliques and the side muscles. So we're gonna take that outside arm, reach it up, and lean away from the stretch. So a little bit of that rib cage is reaching away from you or towards me. And then take this top hand and reach around, grab your knee on the front leg, reach the other hand behind your lower back and come into your twist. Keeping that hip square. If it helps you to tuck your toes under, you can do that. And then taking that hand off the lower back and off the front knee, reach it up. Take your weight back into that back leg. Use your ball for support as you stretch out that hamstring. If you want to come all the way down, you can. I prefer to stretch out my toes and the Achilles. Send the weight forward into your hands, into that front leg, bend it again. Open up the hip this time, reach the ball away, or just put your hands on the mat. When you're ready to switch legs, place your hands on the ground firmly. Bring the top knee behind you. Roll yourself up and let's switch legs. So again, that same thing, we're gonna tuck the tailbone under, reach that back hand up towards the ceiling. And then add a little reach. Reach across your body. And keep your hand on your front knee for stability here. And then take it into your rotation. Still squared in that hip position. Breathe into that. It's an active stretch, right? Keep reaching. And then undo. Take your legs or your back hip forward, pressing onto the ball or placing your hands on the ground in front of you. Press a little deeper, inhale, and then exhale, take your weight back. Curl your toes under or come flat back, whatever feels good. My head reaching forward, I'm gonna curl my toes up towards the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out, not in a rush. Taking your time, coming back. Release the ball. Take yourself back into your 4-point kneeling position. Reach the opposite arm and leg away, just testing the stability from one side to the other. And switch. Coming into that nice long reach with arm and leg. And you should feel that that glute now is free to do its job of lifting the leg. Last one each side. Then keeping those arms nice and close to the shoulders, curl your toes under, tuck the tummy, roll yourself up. Continue to reach those heels back. And your choice, either walk your fingers to your feet or your feet to your hands. Bend the knees deeply. Tuck the tail and roll your spine up ever so slowly. Once you're standing tall, lift the shoulders up, back, and down. Bring the fingertips behind you, interlace the fingers. I'm going to send them back, reach the chest forward, and then finish off with a nice forward fold. See if you can reach your head towards your toes, reaching those arms back behind you. And then staying there with the head, release the hands, tuck the fingers under your feet, bend your knees. And then straighten those knees. Release and roll it up one last time. Shake out the arms, shake out the whole body. And now my internet's doing something weird. You guys are done. How are you feeling?
Great.